Hi, hope you're well. My name is Jerry Rose, and I drive a Class 1 vehicle. I've been doing it for about 30 years, or an articulated vehicle, as some people call them. I drive for A&F Grant, which is a very, very good company up in Scotland. I'm based down in Bristol. I drive an R580 V8 Scania with a tank. So basically I'm carrying liquids, not fuel, liquids. So in my case it's molasses, and I deliver and collect, pump onto the tank and pump off at the tank at different locations around the UK, mainly from Portbury in Bristol, and then I take that to mills, farms all over the country. I start work on a Monday and I finish work on a Friday. I'm away all week. Sometimes it could be Saturday morning when I get back. So I'm just going to give you a really good insight to anybody who's thinking of coming into the industry, what it's actually like on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to record my day's activities today, and so you can see. I'm going to run through how you unload a tank, how you load a tank, and obviously the do's and don'ts. Obviously it can be a dangerous situation if you don't open the correct valves. If you imagine a Coke can being your tank and you squash it, that's exactly what happens. It implodes. So obviously you have to be a bit careful. I'm going to run through as well, not today but in another video, an easy way to work out your driving hours, your working time directive, the controls of the Scania, the R580 V8, and also any questions you guys have if you're thinking of coming into the industry, because we do need new people coming in. It is a great job, you know. If you want to be 9 to 5 and be home every night, you know, this is not going to be the job for you. I was doing international stuff before. I was gone for about 2 months at a time sometimes, but on this one it's Monday to Friday. I'm home at weekends. So yeah, so I'll sleep in the truck. I'll show you the truck later on tonight. I've got my own fridge. I've got a freezer which is extremely big. I've got a built-in microwave integrated. I've got central heating. I've got air conditioning in the evenings. I've got everything. It's all leather, so it's pretty plush inside the truck. I've got a TV fitted in here. I've got a fantastic Freeview TV. Everything's done. Now imagine if you're away all week, you didn't have any of those so-called luxuries. It could be a long bloody week. So okay, so I'm going to go through what I've done today. I started at 6 o'clock, 0600 hours. The first thing I do is I put in my digicard and I select it for the start of the day, begin country, UK, blah blah blah, and then I go on to other work, of which I've got to show 15 minutes. Well, it doesn't have to be 15 minutes, but at least 10 minutes to be safe. And that's when I do my vehicle checks on the truck, the trailer, etc. Make sure everything's secure. It's not so bad with a tank, you know. I don't have to worry about pallets falling off, you know. It's all enclosed, so that's good. So I do that. So I started off in Portbury. I was parked just outside Portbury, so 6 o'clock, 6:15, I moved into the port. I then filled up the tank. I waited in a queue, went on the weighbridge. I then went underneath a gantry where I take my pipes off, and the liquid then fills into the top of the tank. I can then close the valves, and then I secured the top of the valves at the top of the tank, and then I moved off back onto the weighbridge, weighed off, got my ticket, so we know exactly how much I weighed on when I was empty and weighed off. I'm a 44 ton. So basically my combined weight of the truck, the trailer and the load must not exceed 44 tons. That's what I plated for. So I came off the weighbridge at 43 tons, 960 kg, which is about right. I then drove down to Lifton, which is the other side in Devon, the other side of Oakhampton. I'm literally just on the last bit of road now coming into Lifton, where I'm going to be going into a mill. Once I get on the mill, I'll go back onto the weighbridge, and then I will show you exactly how we unload this tank, exactly what goes on, and I'll record some things during the day, so you guys who want to become a truck driver, which I hope you will, can look at, so you can see what our day's like. You know, our days are anything from 12 to 15 hours, so you might think, my bloody god, that's a long time. That's combined, I could be working or whatever. I'll show you tonight when I park up with the TV and the comforts in the truck. I'm also going to go through in another video driving hours, etc, 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 and any queries you might have, if you let me know, I'm going to try and answer them. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully you enjoy this video today, and you can see exactly what we do. We do keep brick rolling. A lot of people moan about truck drivers and all that, but what they don't realise is without trucks, the whole of the UK would come to a complete standstill, as we found out in this coronavirus now. All truck drivers, or the majority of them anyway, are classed as key workers. I'd like to say thank you to all the people who on the motorway bridges say thank you to the truck drivers. We do appreciate that. We are on the front line now, obviously not as much as the NHS, and I've got a lot of respect for them. They are literally on the front line, but we're in the background, but the unsung heroes keeping Britain moving. So when you're looking at when the shops are empty, for instance, you know, it's us guys that are filling them. Animals need to be fed. We've got to try and continue within this pandemic as best we can. So yeah, well, I'll catch you later, and I'm about 5 minutes away from the mill now. There's nothing on the road as well, so that's good. And I'll go through how we actually unload this tank into their tanks at the mill, and give you a good idea of what it's like in a day with a truck driver. So my name's Jerry, and I'll catch you in a minute. So I'm lowering the back of the trailer. Okay, so the front of the trailer is higher and the back is lowered, and now I come to the back, and as you can see, I've got my pipe, which I've already taken off, and it comes up here and it comes onto the molasses tank. Here we go, molasses, yeah. So the first thing I need to do is to open the valves on the tank. So this one here is tank 1, that's tank 2. So this company happens to be having everything. So I open the 2 valves. Now when these 2 are open here, it tells me it's vented. Basically means that the truck is not going to implode. So I check my hoses are okay. This is all my throttle control, which I'll go through in a second. All my connections are on. I put all these on to save time. Now what I've got to do is pump this fluid from this big tank. This big tank here, look, as you can see at the side, not a lot of room, into this one here. Well, it's showing me it's got 34 tub. Okay, so I pull the lever down. That is opening the valve, as you can hear it hissing. Now I come here, I check that all of my 2 are open. Yeah, now I open this valve here. This is the delivery valve, which allows the fluid in the truck to be pumped up. So I open this one, and now I unload, put my lever down, and you can see the fluid is starting to go all the way up. Increase the speed. There we go. Okay, so basically that is now pumping the fluid from these 2 tanks here. So you can see my truck, from that truck on that tank here, all the way down through the pipes. PTO's taking this, pumping it through the pipe and into here. Now I need to keep checking on this valve here. says 34 tonne. I know it takes 75 tonnes, this tank, because it's written on the side. So I know that my 28 tonne, so 28 tonne and 34 tonne, which is over there, is not going to come more than 75, so I'm okay. So whilst I'm unloading now, what I can do is, I have to stay by the back. Okay, so we're at lifting. Fucking my tank, everything's unloading lovely. Checking it all the time, checking the levels. I can see there's 45, 46 tonne in the tank now. So obviously we're wearing the surgical gloves. When I undo the pipes and I use my bigger gloves, it says getting your hands too dirty, because they do split a bit, these gloves. But with the coronavirus at the moment, the procedure is, my truck is completely clean anyway. I do like a clean truck because I live in it all week. So it's like antibacterials on it all day, and I've been doing that for the last 15 years anyway. So, and then my truck inside is clean, all the handles and that. As soon as I come up to a place where I'm going to deliver, I get out the cab, but before I get out the cab I put my surgical gloves on. I then go into the weighbridge, do my paperwork, so if there's any paper I've got to touch, or people's pens or whatever, I don't touch any of that. Obviously my high vis and my safety hat's got to be on at all times on any site. And then I come in and I do my shit, put it lightly. It's usually about 40 minutes to tip all this tank, so I've got 40 minutes now. I can wait. I can't be on other work. I'm sorry, I can't be on break. I've got to be on other work, because I really do need to be sitting next to these controls and everything, because if anything was to happen and I was inside the truck, there's going to be molasses everywhere. And believe me, this truck has got a fantastic pump, and if this pipe was to burst, molasses would go like 25-30 feet in the air. It would be like Krakatoa going off. So, you know, you need to be careful. Alright, so somebody asked me, how do I know when the tank's empty? Through experience, I can hear the pump working, so I know it's pumping, and there's this noise. So when one of the tanks starts to empty, that's going to change, and it's going to get higher in noise, so I know it's empty. What I would do then is I would walk around the tank and just tap it with a bit of metal. I can tap at the bottom of the tank, I know it's empty. And then I wait for the other one to empty, and then I tap it again. Once I know it's empty, I put everything into reverse. So what I would do then, which I will show you in a minute on the next video, so the first thing I would do is I would turn the valve off on the tank that I'm pumping into, okay, so that it stops all the fluid from running back. And then I would go to the back of the truck in here, and I would put my motor into reverse. So now instead of pushing, it's going to be sucking. So because the valve here is turned off, it's on at the moment, but that's turned off, it can't be sucking anything out of the tank. So laws of physics says anything in the pipe is going to suck back up. So it's going to suck the remainder of the fluid that may be left in the pipe. Otherwise, if you take it off, it's going to go everywhere. It sucks back up into the truck. Once I've done that, I can feel the pipe is light and it's still sucking. I would then turn the valve off on the truck, which means the fluid can't run back. And then I would turn the motor off. Now obviously I need to turn the motor off, because if I want to try and get this pipe off and it's sucking like a vacuum cleaner, it's not going to come off. So I need to turn the pipe off, and then I know that the valve's shut, on the truck shut, there's nothing in the pipe, and then I could undo and let the pressure out on the pipe, take the pipes off, stow the pipes away and clean up any mess, which is very, very rare. And then I shut my doors and everything on the back. Shut the pipes off, so the tanks, turn the motor off, and off I go. I then go back onto the weighbridge, way back off, and then go on my merry way. So I'm not going to bore you with the journey back. So I started at 6 o'clock, we had 15 minutes to do my trailer checks and everything, which I did. and make sure everything's all in order. I then moved off into the port of Portbury, which was 5 minutes away. I went into the weighbridge. They took my tar weight, which is basically the weight of the truck and the trailer with nothing in it, empty, and that gave me a reading. I then went underneath the tanks, got up onto the gantry over the top, and there's pipes. I put the pipes into the tank, selected the products that I needed, opened the valves, and I pumped the depot pumped it into my tanks. So I put on 28 ton 400, so which gave me a gross weight of 43,980, which is below the 44 ton. I then timed up the entry points where the fluid goes in at the top of the tank, tightened them back up. I then got off down the gantry, back into my truck, went back onto the weighbridge, weighed out. They knew exactly how much I got on, and then I drove down to Lifton, which is down about 10-15 miles past Oakhampton on the A30. No traffic on the roads, to where I am now. I'm now emptying. It's going to take 40 minutes. I will then drive from here back to Portbury, because that's the closest place to get another load, pick another load up, and then I'm going to go to Exeter. I'm going to do the same thing in Exeter, and then I'm going to get back in the truck and go back to Portbury, and then I'm going to reload, and that will be for tomorrow. So my day today is probably going to be around about 14 hours. That's driving, that's other work, that's my legal breaks, and we're going to be going through breaks in another video. But yeah, well, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you a bit later on when I go through the truck, what it's like inside a truck, and tonight what it's like spending a night in a truck. To be honest, it's like living in your front room, well, my front room anyway. Everything's clean and tidy. I've got my television, I've got my fridge, my freezer's all integrated, my microwave's all integrated, so everything's cool. I'll go through that later on tonight when I'm watching videos and preview TV and eating a nice curry that my wife made, which is in my freezer. So I'll speak to you guys later. Bye. Okay, so I know now that one of my tanks is empty, because if I look at the pipe, you can see it's shaking about, which means that there's nothing coming out of it basically. And I know that it's this tank here just for experience, because this is the biggest one. So I now turn the valve on that one. So now you can hear the engine changing. So now I know that this one's open. So what I would do is I check. So basically, just get anything metal really. I use this. So as you can see, here's my tank. This is my back one, and my front one's here. So basically, just give it a tap. You can hear it's empty. There you go. So I know that that one's empty. And then my front one here is the one that's not. As you can hear, it's up to there. So this is the one being emptied now. So I've now just got to wait until this pipe jumps about again and I can hear the engine revving a bit, which tells me it's empty. So yeah, we're at a place down in Lifton, so probably about another 10 more minutes I'd have thought, and then we're ready to go. So again, I'll just run through the closing procedure as if we were shut now. So once this now tank is empty, and both tanks are empty, they start shaking, I'd leave it running for a little bit just to get the little bits out, what we call the dregs at the bottom of the tank. Yeah, obviously it's being pushed up here. So obviously gravity is telling me that if this is higher than that and I don't shut that valve off, it's just gonna, when I turn the pump off, it's just gonna run all the way back into this pipe. So the first thing I would do once I'm empty is I would take this valve here and I would push it up and shut the valve on that tank. That means that any fluid, the molasses that are in this tank, cannot run out. But it also means that my pump over here is still trying to pump into this pipe, and obviously the pressure in is just going to blow. So as soon as I've turned that off, I've got, you know, it's not immediate, I've got about 20 seconds. I would come back to the truck, yeah, and I would turn my pipe off, yeah, and then I would put it into reverse. So when I put it in reverse, instead of pushing, it is now sucking. So any fluid that's in this pipe now is going to be sucked all the way back up and into the tank. Once it's in the tank, I will then shut that valve off here to stop that from running back down and turn the motor on. Okay, so now I know that I'm all done, got no pressure in the pipe. I then undo my connections here, yeah, nice and slowly. Nothing's going to be running out. Remember that it's all gone, it's shut off. So take my connections off. I would stow my connections back into my bucket here for different connections. Push the end of the pipe up here, keep feeding it up all the way through. And once it's fed up through and it's stowed away nicely, I'd shut my back doors down, lock my doors down, go into the truck, turn off my PTO and drive onto the weighbridge and off I go. So that's the running procedure. I'll catch you later when I'm going through the controls in the truck and show you what I do on an evening once I've finished tonight. And any questions you want, just give me a shout. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so all my tanks are empty. So the valves are open. 1, 2. Remember up, yeah. The tanks are empty. I can feel it. It is empty. Okay. So the first thing I do is I have to turn off the valve to stop anything from pushing back. So here we go then. We push the valve up. Now remember, it's still pumping. I'd come back to the truck, take it off, forward, and suck. As you can see, the pipe is now sucking it up. Turn it off, shut the valve. Now there should be no fluid in this pipe now because I've sucked it. Now I can release the pressure. This is a bit hard with one hand, but I can release the pressure on here and I can take off. Okay, that's just a little bit coming out, okay. Right, and I'll stow it away now. So just to be extra sure now, I'll just open the valve, put it on suck. I'll just see you just suck anything out of the pipe, yeah. Once it's sucking out of the pipe, I'll try and do this with one hand, which is pretty difficult. I would then stow it away in here. So there's your video. I'll catch you later at the end of the day. Stay safe, people. Bye. Okay, so happy people. So there we have, that's the first delivery done for the day. I could be driving from here to Scotland, it could be to the south of France, it could be anywhere, but the majority of the times it's in the UK, and we tend to do the same meals all the time. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of an insight into how a tank is emptied. I'm going to try and do a video later of filling the tank up so you can see exactly what we do there. It's pretty straightforward, that, to be honest. Problems that we get sometimes if we go to a farm, obviously you can imagine with an articulated 44-ton truck, a lot of farmers go, yeah, you can get a truck there, you know, and then you get there and find that it's bloody tight and you can't do the delivery. That happens every now and then, but most of the time you can. But you have to remember, you are going down country lanes, especially when we're in Cornwall and anywhere it's going to be. They are small country lanes, so it's a bit tight and usually a little bit tight for manoeuvrability to get onto the delivery point, as we call it, on the farms. But you know, that all comes with experience. A lot of people say, you know, you don't know how you can drive one of these. Believe it or not, I can reverse one of these and drive one of these better than I can a car. Reversing the car, you know, fucking car park or parallel parking, hey ho, give it to somebody else. Obviously I can do it. I'm just so used to the length and width of this vehicle. When I get in my car, it is really difficult. Remember, I'm turning opposite locked to go right, I'm turning left to go right, and right to go left. So yeah, it can be a bit tricky in the car. But yeah, so okay, so let's just have a run through of what we've done so far. So my alarm went off at 5:30. I got up. First thing I do is I go into my fridge, I get out my ice cold milk, and I have my breakfast. So I have my breakfast, and then I clean my teeth. I had a shower the evening before, so clean my teeth. I clocked on at 6 a.m. this morning, so I pushed my card, which you can't see is at the top in the Digi Control Centre. Pushed that in, and I put it onto other work. It then registered me starting my shift for the day, and then other work. So then I got out the truck. I trucked all around my tyres, the airlines, lights, bulbs, normal stuff that you would do. It's really important to check your fifth wheel pin. That's the coupling pin or lock that locks your trailer onto your fifth wheel of your truck, which obviously spins like this. It has been known that some people, for a laugh, in the middle of the night, pull your pin out and pull the bar. Now, what happens in the morning is you think everything's okay, and you go to pull off, and hey ho, you've dropped the trailer straight onto the floor. There's no landing legs because they're lifted up. Your truck's gone on. You know, I don't know why people do it. It seems to be a bit of a joke, but it costs thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of pounds sometimes in damage. So, you know, to get around that problem is always check your fifth wheel. Your locking pins in, your R-clip, just make sure everything's in there, and you won't go wrong, you know. Another problem we get usually, and not all the time, is obviously we're parking. It's very difficult to park one of these trucks. Obviously lay-bys, services, it costs you money to park one of them, £36 for a night overnight, which we would grudge paying. We think it should be free for truck drivers, especially in this coronavirus epidemic now at the moment. Whereas, you know, we're on the front line as well, we're doing these deliveries and we're away all week, and yet we still get charged to park a truck in a service station, even though that there is no services, there's no showers there. They've been shut because of the coronavirus, so you can use the toilet. Apart from that, there's no food, there's nothing to eat, so you pay £36 to basically use a toilet. Well, you may as well park up for free in a lay-by and pee in the bush, unless you need to do a bit of the other one, you know. But on the evening, I'm usually parking up. We've got showers at each depot, so it's always easy to find showers, truck stops. I shower every day in the truck, so it's not a problem. So anyway, yeah, I've done my check. I've gone into Portbury, I've loaded, so that's 6 o'clock I started. I've loaded in Portbury, I've driven down to Lifton, which is in Devon. I've tipped, I've gone through the video of us tipping, I've tipped the whole thing. I've come back out onto the weighbridge, I've weighed off. I have my ticket here with my notes, which tells me my recorded weight in and recorded weight out. I then send that off to the head office so they know what I've done. And now I'm driving back to Portbury again, which is about 2.5 hours drive. So I should get to Portbury for around about 2:30ish. Remembering that I can only drive, the maximum I can drive in one go is 4.5 hours. Now, we never do that, to be honest, because we're all stopping. So if you were to drive for 4.5 hours, you have to physically take a 45-minute break. Or you can split it and have quarter an hour before and 30 minutes, you know, whatever you want. So I'll go through that on a different video, because that can get a little bit complex, again, with the working time directive. But for now, we're just going to run through today of what it's like being a truck driver for the day. So I'll catch you guys later. I should be back in Portbury for, what time is it now? 12, about 2:30. Hopefully, if there's no one there waiting to load, it takes about 50 minutes to load. 2:30, 3:30, 3:45. I'll then drive down from there to Exeter. That's about an hour and a half. 4:45, 4:45, 5:15 with a break. 5:30. I will then tip Exeter. 5:30, give an hour with the weighbridge. 5:30, 6:30. I will then drive back to Portbury. 6:30, 7:30. So I'll be finished at 8 o'clock. Started at 6, finished at 8. There's 14 hours. So maybe this is putting you off. Maybe you don't want to be a truck driver, but tonight I'll run through the truck, so keep watching. Please subscribe to Irene&William or my truck company, my truck channel. Please like, subscribe, ask me any questions, whether it's working time directive, you know, certain things you need to do, ferry movements if you're going abroad, blah blah blah. Doesn't matter what the questions, and hopefully I can give you the right answer. But I can assure you that I will explain it in simple terms. When you try and read about the laws and regulations on the EU driving controls, it's a lot of wording for which can be quite complex, and you really don't really understand it. So I will put it in a nice, easy way, simple way that you can each and every one of you understand it. Just remember, it's a 24-hour period. So it's whatever you do in a 24-hour must include rest, work, and play. Simple as that. All right. Well, I'll catch you when I get back to Portbury, when I show you how we're loading the truck. And then my last and final video for today will be when I parked up. I'll then go through the truck, let you have a look at the truck inside, where I sleep, my fridge, my freezer, my microwave, etc, 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 where my telly is, and then yeah, should give you a whole day with me in the truck. Hope you like it. Have a great day. Please stay safe. And remember, protect the NHS, protect lives. This is really important. It's Easter weekend. I was actually amazed yesterday, very quick before I go, I was amazed yesterday that I was driving down to Cornwall, and guess what? There's a caravan on the motorway driving down to Cornwall with a family in it. Obviously a family are now going off for the Easter weekend. Which bit of lockdown do people not understand? It's like amazing. It's like unbelievable. The only thing on the roads at the moment should be people that are going to work because their job is critical, people that are just driving from their house to go and get some medicine and some food. It shouldn't be on the motorway. Why would you want to get on the motorway to go to shopping? You don't. You just go to your local shops. But as for getting in a caravan, it's unbelievable. But anyway, that's another subject. So I'll catch you later. Thanks, Ed. Bye. So here we are loading the trailer. So as you see, we drive the trailer and the truck under this gantry here, and then we walk up the steps. Okay, so we're given a sample bottle, which I have in my pocket. 2 secs. We're given a sample bottle, so that's telling me what I'm delivering, and on the top there's a number 28. So I go to this panel here, turn it on. First thing I need to do is enter the tanker number, which is 51, and then enter the selection I want, which is 28 there, as you see. Confirm selection, and then I undo my pots. I have 2 for the front one, this one for the second one. Put the pipe in, press the green button, and as you can see, it's telling me here how many ton I can put on, and I know I can put on 28 ton and 28 ton 400 total, because I've just weighed in at the weighbridge. Okay, so once I've filled the pots, I take this little gadget here and I lower it into the pot to take a sample, and then I fill up my pot, put the lid on, and then when I weigh myself out, I give them the pot. So that's it. So there we are loading. It's going to be about 35 minutes, 40 minutes to load, and then I'm off to extra. So I'll catch you tonight when I run through the truck, which is an R580 V8, where we sleep. And I'll go through the truck and all the bits and bobs, and any questions you have, just give me a shout. Okay, bye.